Jets, Jets. What is going on, Jet fans? Welcome back to another episode, live stream of the Jets Ward. Welcome. I just wanted to go hang out with you guys tonight, talk about, we are a week out from the NFL draft. I wanted to get your guys' reactions of everything that was going on. How do you feel about the picks? Talk about some winners of the NFL draft, because I think there are a lot of teams that did very, very well. But I think there are about three that I would say are winners of this draft. I also think there are teams that could have done a little bit better. And I just want to talk with you guys, get your opinions on everything, and see what you guys think of the undrafted free agents so far, and your opinions of how you think the Jets or your teams have done so far as well. So welcome. I am so excited to be with you guys tonight. If you've been here before, welcome. Always happy to have you guys joining back and hanging out with me. If you are new here, welcome. I hope you enjoy what you hear tonight, and make sure you guys comment as well. I'd love hearing from you guys and everything going on. Hoping you guys are having a wonderful Saturday night as well. Now, getting into it, like I said, this is going to be just a reaction to what happened in the draft and what was going on with the Jets and other teams as well. And first, I wanted to bring up promote some other Jets content creators. Yesterday or last night, I had the privilege of being in the Danger Zone with Dano and Murph. I think both of those guys do an awesome job. If you guys have not subscribed to them yet, make sure you do. They do an awesome job and just a joy to be around too. They welcomed me with open arms onto their channel last night, and I really, really loved it. So if you have not subscribed to Danger Zone with Dano and Murph yet, make sure you guys do. They do an awesome, awesome job there. They do such good things, and I love hearing from them as well. Big fan of theirs. Also, wanted to shout out Malcolm Harper as well. He has a podcast called Jet State of Mind. So if you have not seen it, make sure you check it out. He does really good work as well. And it's just an overall good guy as well. Big fan of his. Good friend of mine as well. Love hearing his takes on the Jets as well. And I think you guys would as well. But getting into the reactions from the NFL draft. And the first thing I wanted to do was shout out a comment that I was getting on X. I talked to a lot of you guys on X, and I love hearing from you guys and your opinions on everything. And one of the first things I wanted to talk about was a follower on X, Alex Priest. He won't be able to join us tonight, but he's a big follower of the show, and I appreciate him and all of his opinions as well. He said that the biggest thing that he takes away from the NFL as well, or from the draft, is the overreaction now of the Jets not taking a day 3 quarterback. And honestly, it is a big overreaction. Everything happened, really. Jordan Travis retiring caught us all off guard. And now everybody's panicking. What do we do? Should we have drafted a quarterback? Shedeur Sanders fell to the fifth round. There was Quinn Ewers that fell drastically. I think he fell to the 7th round. Riley Leonard fell. There was Kyle McCord, who ended up going to the Eagles. Honestly, I was okay with the Jets not drafting a quarterback, whether we got any of them. This wasn't the strongest quarterback class. And honestly, now with Jordan Travis retiring out of nowhere, honestly, I'm not sad that the Jets didn't draft a quarterback. And plus, we got a quarterback in undrafted free agency, Brady Cook, who a lot of people like. He has a lot of strengths, can get outside the pocket. He's mobile, has a decent arm, not the strongest arm. Good, can run people over, decent-sized quarterback, and has a connection with Armand Membu, the Jets' first-round pick, because Brady Cook was the quarterback of Missouri. And I'm going to be talking about some of the prospects we got in undrafted free agency, because there were a lot of good ones that I really, really enjoyed, and some that I was kind of shocked about that I didn't think we're going to fit, and some that we missed on that you guys know a couple of them that I really wanted, especially Jared Ivey. He was the biggest undrafted free agent that I wanted. He ended up going to Seattle. Good for him. Seattle Seahawks did a really good job overall in this. So we got a comment from motherfucking Chew. Thank you for your comment. I would take a QB every year. We're putting too much faith in a QB that hasn't proven he can even be average. Now, that has been a big issue that a lot of fans have had with the Jets. Justin Fields has been named the starting quarterback, and I thank you for your comment as well, because that is a really good point. Justin Fields has not proven very much. He hasn't had the best career. He did okay in Chicago, never had a really good offensive line, and made a lot of mistakes there. Then he ends up going to Pittsburgh, where he took a few steps forward and ended up getting benched going 4-2. Now, I think he's done really good stuff in the NFL. I think he brings a lot to the table and still has a ton of upside. But there is the concern. What happens if he doesn't work? Tyrod Taylor can never stay healthy. And now you got Brady Cook, who is an undrafted rookie who you have no idea what he can do. And you got Martinez as well, who shows that he had flashes in preseason, but nothing in the NFL. He's never started a game. So what did the Jets do? Should they go after a free agent quarterback? Mike White's still out there. Do you try to take a shot on him again? I don't think a lot of Jets fans would be a fan of that. But I do understand where you're coming from, and that is a really good comment. Justin Fields really hasn't proven too much in the NFL. We're banking on the upside, and that's what AG and Muji have said. They are going to basically put him in a situation to succeed at quarterback. Let him play quarterback. And I think it's a good thing as well that the Jets have built an offensive line around him that's the best one in his career. He's got two solid tackles, 2 great guards, and solid center as well, and a young offensive line as well. So I think he's going to take another step forward. The problem is, if it doesn't work out, if he struggles and only throws for 140 yards a game and has turnover-worthy plays, he did fumble a decent amount last year, and it is a struggle. Thank you again for your other comment. Everyone can say coaching is Fields' issue, but he had good coaching in Pittsburgh, and they benched him. That is another good point. But I will say, Mike Tomlin, with how great of a coach he is, never really got the quarterback right. Ever since after Ben Roethlisberger, they had Kenny Pickett, they had Mason Rudolph, they had Duck Hodges. They had all of these guys, and it didn't work out. They had Byron Leftwich as well when he was the coach there, who was a solid backup for them, but never really performed. They had Michael Vick, too, who was at the end of his career. Justin Fields, I think Mike Tomlin was dead set that he wanted Russell Wilson to be his starter. And that's why when Justin Fields was benched. In my opinion, I'm a fan of his. I don't think he should have been benched. And a lot of the teammates of his didn't think he should have been benched as well. But they ended up making the playoffs. Russell Wilson did have a couple good games. So the jury's still out on Justin Fields. Pittsburgh really wanted him back, so there was that too. But I really appreciate your comment. You make up really good points. I'm a fan of Justin Fields. I think he could do really, really well in the right system. And that's the biggest thing. Rookie offensive coordinator, what are they going to do with Justin Fields? And I got another comment from Jake. Thank you very much for your comment. He says, QB every year makes sense till we hit. I've believed that forever. Cook is about as good as we can get this year in this draft, outside maybe Milroe. If we're building an offense on Fields' skill set. That is a great point as well, because Justin Fields, honestly, has to have a perfect skills. He has a great skill set, strong arm and great legs, big running. I think we're going to be running the ball a ton this year, which is great. And I love that you brought up Milroe, because I was shocked that he ended up going to Seattle. Sam Darnold can never get a break, honestly. But I think that's a great situation for him, but he also needs an offense that is suitable for him. Same thing with Justin Fields. He has all this talent, still 25, all of this upside so far. But can he encapsulate that and show it on the field? He's been handed the starting job already, which we're preaching competition, which I wasn't the biggest fan of. I wanted to see what would happen with Tyrod Taylor and Justin Fields, but we're putting a lot of faith in him. And you have another comment as well. Next year's class is so much deeper. Fields sucks. We do it then. Ward would probably be like QB5 next year. I love that you brought that up, because I actually was going to do a video, and I think, why don't we just jump into that? I've ranked like the top 10 quarterbacks that could go out next year. And some of them on the list could stay another year or two in college. But I have a ranking of my top quarterbacks if they were to come out next year. And I'd love to show you guys that because I think I would love to hear from you guys as well. Also a comment. Milroe needs to develop. Smart move by Seattle. It was. Sam Darnold's got a monster contract there. But if he goes down, Jalen Milroe can learn from him. And I think Jalen Milroe has a lot of talent and a lot of discipline. I really don't want him to become another Anthony Richardson. But I'm just excited to see what Milroe does, honestly. But going into the other point about the quarterbacks next year, because we did say that this quarterback draft, honestly, wasn't the best. My favorite was Jackson Dart. I've been honest with that one. I think he has the best upside out of all of them. Cam Ward, I think, is going to be good, but Titans need to do a lot to help him out. Shedeur Sanders falling to the 5th was a shocker, but apparently with all the rumors coming out that he was overly cocky and didn't react well to a lot of interviews, and especially with the Giants, where they made a play for him and had some mistakes in it and he couldn't catch them, didn't react well. So interesting there. Yeah, Milroe did not need to start here and would fit what we're building. He went before I would have grabbed him anyway. He did go high. A lot of these quarterbacks, I predicted that there would be 3 quarterbacks that would go in the first round: Shedeur, Jackson Dart, and Cam Ward. 2 of them, Jackson Dart and Cam Ward, went. Did not think Shedeur was going to fall. Jalen Milroe, honestly, I think he did go pretty high. I thought he was going to fall. I thought he's definitely going to fall because he didn't have the best combine, didn't have the best Senior Bowl either. So there were a lot of different things that I thought he was going to fall up for. Kyle McCord, I didn't think was going to fall that far. I also didn't think Riley Leonard would be going before Quinn Ewers. There was a lot of stuff there. This whole draft was shocking, and we're going to get into a lot of it, and I appreciate all your guys' comments. You are right. Darnold was a mobile quarterback in college, and when he even came to the Jets, we used his legs a lot, especially in the red zone. He had a lot of 5-yard rushing touchdowns for the Jets or 1-yard rushing touchdown. He was a really good mobile quarterback. Use his legs. If he gets outside the pocket, he can throw the ball downfield, and he's good on the run, honestly. But getting into that list, I did want to show you guys that list because since you guys brought it up for the quarterback class next year, let me see. Which one was it? Sorry about that, guys. My dog is barking, so give me 1 second. Sorry about that, guys. Dog was just barking. He heard another dog outside. Bentley, come here. You want to join? You want to say hi to everybody? Come on up. Say hi to everybody. So this is my dog, Bentley. He always loves being in front of the camera as well. But getting into this list, guys, sorry about that. A lot of stuff going on. I got you guys these quarterbacks that I've ranked so far to see how they are going to be. And honestly, my ranking for the quarterbacks so far, this was a big one this year who thought he was going to be coming out. Drew Allar from Penn State. He's 6'5", 238 pounds. Honestly, I think he's going to be one of the best quarterbacks coming out next year. In all honesty, I think he could have been the second ranked quarterback going out this year over Jackson Dart, maybe Cam Ward, maybe. There were talks when we were wondering if he was going to be going out this year, if he was going to go into the draft or go back to college. I think the decision to go back to college was great for him, and I'm really interested to see how he does without Tyler Warren. Tyler Warren was his really was his security blanket and did a lot. I do like him over Dart as well. I do love Drew Allar over Dart. And if he went this year, he would have been the quarterback. If the Jets were to target a quarterback, Bentley, no. If he would have been the quarterback that I would have targeted, honestly. So he's my first ranked one. He reminds me a lot of Josh Allen because he's not the fastest guy, but he can use his legs to get out of the pocket. Cannon of an arm. And all honesty, it's like I think he's going to be really good. In another year in college, I think could be really, really solid. So he's my number 1 ranked quarterback coming out. Another one that has been coming up as well that I think you guys know a lot about, Garrett Nussmeier, quarterback out of LSU. He's 6'2", 200 pounds. Lighter frame quarterback, has decent height for a quarterback, but in all honesty, he's got a really good arm as well. And I think another year at college, I think this guy's going to be competing for the number one spot for quarterback and probably Heisman as well. Drew Allar and him are going to be going head to head, in my opinion, for the Heisman next year. And I think he can be really, really good. Great leader, honestly, on that team. The teammates love him. Problem is when he gets pressured, and you can say this for all quarterbacks, his mechanics start to get a little wonky, and he trusts his arm a little too much. And yes, he has a great one, but he does tend to throw it in really tight windows. And Jake, I see you say he is your number one right now. Honestly, he's a good choice for a number one. It's Allar and him for me. And I know this next guy that you guys are going to see that I have up here, I think he's going to be a lot of people's number one if he comes out, and that's Arch Manning. Honestly, you see the name Manning, and it's automatically like he's going to go number one. And in Todd McShay's, I believe's mock draft, he had the Jets going quarterback number one, and a lot of people had him as the quarterback. I don't think that he comes out this year. I don't even think he comes out next year. Honestly, I think he's already said that he's going to stay all the way till his senior year in college. I would be shocked if he came out, and I honestly think, rankings based off of the fact I don't think he's coming out. I agree. That's my rankings. If he were to come out, I'd still have him ranked number 3, though. I really like Drew Allar. Manning, if he were to come out, he doesn't have a ton of experience as well. In all honesty, I think there are things he can work on. Confident in his arm, which is really, really good. He has a really good one, can get out of the pocket. I really want him to stay in college another year or two just to get that experience. But if he were to come out, honestly, he could be a top quarterback. And as we know, I'm going to predict it now. I think 5 quarterbacks are going to go in the first round next year. And because the quarterback class this year is just so stacked, God forbid any injuries happen to these guys, but the quarterback class next year is just so stacked. And I think it's going to be really, really good. And another quarterback that people are talking about as well that might not come out is LaNorris Sellers, quarterback from South Carolina, 6'3", 242 pounds. Decent size for a quarterback. And in all honesty, he reminds me a lot of like a Cam Newton type of quarterback. Guy can run. He's probably going to be the quickest quarterback coming out of this draft. I really, really like LaNorris Sellers. I think he could be solid. He definitely is a big guy. But he's not even the biggest quarterback that could come back out there. I'm going to get to a guy that's 6'6", has a cannon of an arm. This guy's got a cannon of an arm as well. And all honesty, he could be really, really good in the right system. I'm saying in the right system. All these quarterbacks could be great in the right system. I think if you put him in basically an RPO type of offense, maybe with like what the Raiders are doing, where they have Chip Kelly as their offensive coordinator, that could be a great spot for him next year because Chip Kelly knows how to utilize those type of running quarterbacks and can put them in situations that are the best for them. I think the Raiders could be a perfect spot for him, especially now they have Geno, who's going to be a good mentor for this kid if he were to go there. And in all honesty, too, the guy's a leader as well. No boneheaded mistakes. He does what he can for the team. Problem is he doesn't slide. He needs to work on getting down quicker and preserving himself. He wants to run people over, which is great, but you're not a running back. You're a quarterback, and you need to be on the field. All right, that's the biggest issue that I would see with him right now. But continuing on, because there's a lot of them. I have top 10 right now. Cade Klubnik from Clemson, 6'2", 210. This is another guy. Can get out of the pocket really quickly. And Jake, I do agree with you. Chip Kelly is an amazing offensive coordinator. There are a lot of coaches who are better set as coordinators. The quarterback or the coach from Houston years ago, who used to coach Penn State, great offensive coordinator, not a good head coach. Well, decent. He got them to the playoffs, but Kelly is a fantastic offensive coordinator. I think Gino's going to thrive in that offense this year. But I have Cade Klubnik from Clemson. He's just a solid quarterback, does not make tons of mistakes. He preserves the ball, does not throw a lot of interceptions, does not throw into high traffic plays. Like if he sees that a receiver's double covered, he's not going to him. Problem is he's slow with his progressions. He needs to get quicker with his progressions, needs to build up some muscle as well because he's only 210. He needs to build up some muscle because if a big defensive end or a defensive lineman come crashing down on him, he can get crushed. So he needs to build up some size on him, some meat on his bones, some muscle. But I think he could be really good as well. And I'm interested to see all these guys this year. Plays for a really good team, plays against top competition. But again, needs more experience as well. And another one too, I know we're going through these quarterbacks really quick. Haynes King, Georgia Tech. He's 6'3", 215 pounds. I think he's very underrated. Honestly, I think people are going to be looking at him more this year. Very underrated. Needs more. Going to be playing well this year. Escapes the pocket way too quick. Yes, the guy with the butthole chin. I can't think of his name. Brian something. I think it was Brian something. Forget. Bill O'Brien. Bill O'Brien. Thank you so much, Jake. Yes, he made Hackenberg look amazing, and that's why the Jets fell for it and freaking took him in the second round years ago. God, I still don't like that. Nobody liked Hackenberg coming out when he came out. God, Bill O'Brien. Great offensive mind. Exactly. Haynes King, though, Georgia Tech quarterback, escapes the pocket too much. Great wheels. Not the best arm. He's got a good arm, but not the best arm. And needs to work on really, like, when he can throw a bullet pass to a receiver or when he needs to put some loft under it. He struggles with that. Can see over the line, though. Can be really, really good, but needs a lot of work on him. I think if he gets that work and having another year in college, I think that could be really, really good. And I'm interested to see how Georgia Tech does this year with him having a full season under him. Now getting to the next guy, Taylen Green from Arkansas. This guy is a massive, massive guy. He's 6'6", 230 pounds. Kid's a beast of a guy. Cannon of an arm. The problem is he bails on the pocket really, really quickly if he doesn't go through his progressions. He's a one-read quarterback as of now. Yes, this is the big one I was talking about. 6'6" guy. Tough to bring down when he's running full speed. He is massive. So strong as well. Really, really quick. Very athletic. Reminds me on a base of like an Anthony Richardson type of player. But if he gets better, Cam Ward, he could be like He could be like a Cam Newton, who was really solid. Ben Roethlisberger with more speed, he could be. Honestly, this kid has all the talent in the world. He just needs to hone that skill and be able to go through his progressions a lot quicker. Honestly, because he's a one read guy at this point, and if he doesn't see the guys open, he takes off. He runs really, really quick and bails on the pocket too much and does not have great pocket awareness. So he needs to be able to feel when pressure is coming onto him. But honestly, I would take that size. The upside, the athletic upside for this kid is really, really good. And if he takes those steps this year for Arkansas, I honestly think he could be really, really good. I think he's a junior this year. I believe he is junior or senior, but the kid is really going to be really, really good, in my opinion. Just needs to work on a lot of different things. Other guy going on, Sam Levitt. A lot of people talk about this kid. He's 6'2", only 200 pounds from Arizona State. He's another guy that's projected to come out this year as well. And honestly, the biggest thing, yeah, but think about it too. A little concerning that the last guy was a one-read quarterback. Yes, I will say that, but Jackson Dart honestly was argued to be a one-read quarterback as well because of the system that he was in. It could definitely be the system. Jalen Milroe, too, was looked at as being a one-read quarterback, but has all the upside in the world. And I will take the upside as a project type of quarterback because I don't think that the last guy who I had on here, I don't think he's going to go round 1 or anything like that. Honestly, I could see him being a 3rd or 4th round quarterback because of the measurables that he has. And honestly, he could end up being really good and working on those progressions. And I understand the concern, but a lot of people had that concern with Jackson Dart and not Kyle McCord, Will Howard, and Jalen Milroe as well. So I'm excited to see what this kid can do another year in college. And he might be able to put those concerns to bed, honestly. Getting to the next guy, though, Sam Levitt. A lot of people will have this kid higher. He is a solid quarterback, needs to build up some muscle. He's only 200 pounds. Not the strongest arm either, honestly. Jake coming in with all the comments tonight. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. True, if you can hit on one of those guys, you got a monster. I don't know what system they're making him run first. First time hearing of him. Watch Arkansas this year. They like to run the ball, and they use him in a lot of RPO type of offenses. You watch him this year because I think he will open a lot of eyes this year, in my opinion. But Sam Levitt from Arizona State, he likes to get out of the pocket and throw on the run. He likes to use his wheels. He's not the fastest, but he is elusive in the pocket, which is really, really good, but he needs to build up on some muscle. He's got the size, the height for a quarterback, a solid quarterback, but he needs to build up on some of that muscle because if he gets hit, he can get seriously hurt. But he reminds me of I want to say Drew Brees early in his career. Never had the strongest arm, had a decent arm, good IQ, needs to read through his progressions a little quicker though, and good on his feet, but needs to work on some of the mechanics as well. He's a little hoppy. He bounces a lot of the time. So if he can work on that, I think he can honestly be pretty solid. Getting into the next guy as well, Carson Beck. A lot of people hate on Carson Beck, and honestly, he was from Georgia. He's transferred out of Georgia to go to Miami. So in a new system, we'll see how he does. Carson Beck is an interesting one. The Jets drafted Arian Smith this past year, and honestly, and Jake, I am too. I am one of the people who are concerned about Carson Beck because he's just confusing as a prospect, in my opinion, because he has a decent arm, not the best one. He's more of a pocket quarterback. Unlike all of these other guys who can get out of the pocket and throw on the run, that's not Carson Beck's game. He is like a Nick Foles type of player where he's better. He stays in the pocket, has a decent arm, is a great size of a quarterback, but makes too many boneheaded mistakes and relies on his arm too much and throws into really bad situations. So Arian Smith, who the Jets drafted, who a lot of Jet fans are not a fan. A lot of fans, honestly, were not happy with Arian Smith, but this guy didn't put him in a great situation. Honestly, a lot of the times he underthrew him. He threw it to him when he was going to get cracked right over the middle. I think, honestly, he's going to be a quarterback that I think is going to do well in the combine with his arm, with throwing. But in all honesty, I don't think he's going to be the best quarterback out of this class. I honestly think he makes a solid backup, but we'll see. It's way too early, and that's why I like doing this. This is way too early to manage these quarterbacks, but this is how I think they're going to rank. So he's got the size of a good quarterback, but I don't think he's going to pan out as like a number one starter for a team. And the last guy that I have on here that I think is going to do really well is this guy, the guy who's taken over for him in Georgia, Jaden Rashada. He's 6'4", 190 pounds, very, very small as a quarterback when it comes to weight-wise, but can get out of the pocket and can run, has a good arm, really good arm for his size, 6'4", can see over the line, goes through progressions really well, but doesn't trust himself a lot of the time, does not have a lot of experience. I'm excited to see what this kid can do with a full year under center. Honestly, I think this kid could be really good and could honestly shake things up for a lot of teams. And he's going to be my late round like steal in a lot of opinions. Depending on if he goes in the 5th or 6th, I think this kid could be good, honestly. And I'm really excited to see what he does for Georgia this year as the starter, because he's going to be taking over for Carson Beck. And I'm interested to see what he can do in that type of offense and how they're going to utilize the skills that he has, because he can be an RPO king and stuff like that. He's an athlete. Yeah, he is a solid athlete. And thank you for the chat again, Jake. You want to roll tonight, and I appreciate it, man. And I appreciate all of you guys. We have 6 people watching right now. I appreciate the heck out of all of you. I love you guys, and thank you guys for joining me. I just wanted to come on here and chat with you guys. Wanted to have a nice hour and a half long stream, go over our reactions to the draft. And I skipped to something that I was going to talk about at the end with these new quarterbacks next year, because if Justin Fields doesn't pan out, one of these quarterbacks could be our guy next year. And depending on when we pick, it could be Nussmeier. It could be Allar, which I think a lot of fans would be happy with. It could be a lot of these guys. Rashada, maybe, if he does come out. A lot of these guys could be the Jets' next prospect, because I think the Jets are going to go after a quarterback next year anyway, because I think Tyrod Taylor retires after this year. Honestly, he's been in the league forever. So, but these are my quarterbacks that I have for you guys as like up and comers next year that I think could be really, really good. Now, getting into the reaction from the draft. Honestly, I really loved what the Jets did in the draft in the first 4 rounds. I'm not going to lie, I wasn't a big fan of the last couple of picks with Francisco Mauigoa, the linebacker from Miami, and Tyler Barron, edge from Miami. I mentioned it on Danger Zone last night with Dano and Murph, which I appreciate them having me on. I love them. They do a great job. If you have not subscribed to their channel yet, make sure you do. They do great work over there. But the 2 Miami guys at the end of the draft were not my favorite. But the one thing I will say about this draft as a whole, you can understand all of those picks because they were needs. We did need those. And Jake says, Smith I can't get on board with, like the first 3. Smith, yes, especially with Jalen Royals on the board still. I think Ayamanor was still on the board at that point as well. DT was still a big need. You could have got Deion Walker, I believe, was still on the board. Farmer was on the board at that point. There were a lot of players that had more value. And I will say that Arian Smith was a big reach, but I also think that their target was in the 3rd round, Kyle Williams, who ended up going to the Patriots. I think they stole him from us. And the other guy that we interviewed was Arian Smith. And he's not my favorite. A lot of drops, yes, but again, could that have been Carson Beck? Carson Beck didn't throw a very catchable football for the Georgia Bulldogs last year. And that might be the system that he was put in. That's why he probably transferred to Miami to maybe get a better system for him. But Arian Smith, still with 10 drops last year, still led the team in yards. So the guy's got talent. You say, yeah, I think we panicked after Williams went. I think we did panic a little bit, but I also will argue that AG and Muji, I think when they had their board, they had players that they wanted, no matter at what pick. And they said, to hell with where we're going to pick them. These are the guys we want. We're going to go get them. And yeah, Arian Smith is a shocker. And I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt because he could either be like a complete and utter bust, or he could be the next Devontae Smith from the Eagles. A lot of speed, thinner receiver. And the biggest thing with Arian Smith as well, is he's a good blocker. And if you look at what Detroit did with Amon-Ra St. Brown last year and all their receivers, they loved blocking receivers. Arian Smith can block, and he's a damn good blocker as well. Even for his size, he is a damn good blocker. And a good comment again. Yup, it was all the guys who did visits, and I think all did Senior Bowl. We had that time. Yeah, honestly, all the guys that we met with were guys that we're going to go with. Like, even an undrafted free agency. Jordan Clark, who is Ryan Clark's son, we drafted. We met with him as well. We signed him. I'm actually really excited for Jordan Clark. I think he ends up making the team as a depth safety and special teams player. I think he's going to be a great pickup. We're going to get into the undrafted free agents as well. But I did want to talk to you guys about our picks and get your guys' opinions about some of them as well. And I'll go through them each with you guys and give you my grades for them. I'd love to hear your grades on them as well, because a lot of them, I'll be honest, a lot of fans from the Jets gave a lot of varying grades on the Jets. My overall grade from this draft for them was a B, because of the first couple picks I loved. And honestly, Armand Membou, I think best right tackle in the draft, not the best overall tackle in my opinion. I think Josh Simmons was the best overall tackle in my opinion, and that was the guy I wanted if the Jets traded back. I'm not going to lie, I was team trade back and acquire more picks because I thought it would have been more valuable. But we ended up with Armand Membou, and this offensive line is complete, honestly. And it's physical too. Olu Fashanu, known for his pass rush or pass blocking, but he was a damn good run blocker too when we moved him over to the left tackle. John Simpson, we know him. He's a monster who runs people over. Tippmann's a great run blocker as well. Elijah Vera Tucker coming back from an injury as well, starting to get back in the feel of it. Solid run blocker as well, keeping him at guard. And now Armand Membou, that offensive line is complete for years to come. So I'm honestly loving the Armand Membou, and I gave that one an A+. Loved the pick and thought it was great. Sorry, guys. Going to have a little bit of my comfort coffee. Damn good. Anyway, sorry about that. The next guy, Mason Taylor as well. Sorry, guys. Showing you guys. We have it up here. Mason Taylor as well. Love the pick. And Muji did exactly what he needed to do, in my opinion. You got your offensive line done. You got your right tackle. You got your tight end. And I love the tight end, Mason Taylor, as well. It was either him or Harold Fainin. And what I would have done is if we took Harold Fainin, I would have went for Jackson Hawes later in the draft to get that blocking tight end. But we got Mason Taylor. And the best thing about him is he is a good inline blocker, is a solid blocker, willing blocker. But man, he runs smooth routes, needs to work on a little bit of things. But the great thing about him is he's so young. He is only 20 years old and has so much time to improve. And I don't care about his lineage. I know his father played for the Jets in the NFL, which is great. Jason Taylor, I love him. I know that. I love the kid, though. The kid is a leader. For being so young, he was a leader in that LSU locker room. And somebody Nussmeier loved throwing it to. Honestly, he was his trusted guy. One of the leading receivers on that LSU team last year. And I think getting him is a steal for the Jets in the second round. I was worried he was going to go in the end of the first round, and maybe, I know I brought it up, maybe the Chiefs could have stole him because Kelsey, we don't know how long he was going to be there. But in all honesty, I love that the Jets ended up with him, and that was a target that I really, really wanted, and we needed tight end. Now, I'm not going to lie, with the next pick, it really, really did shock me. A.Z. Thomas, cornerback. Honestly, I was not expecting A.Z. Thomas. But it makes sense, honestly, because they got a cornerback who is perfect for this system. Press man coverage. And I know that he didn't run the fastest 40 time, but I said it on Danger Zone last night. I don't care how fast people run in shorts at the combine. Game speed is what counts. And when he was on that field, he was like a blanket on these receivers. I think he only gave up one touchdown last year. And honestly, I think he was a sneaky good pick. And my original reaction was, oh, they're taking a cornerback who's solid. Stevens is moving to safety. Well, I was shocked by that as well, because later in the draft, as we know, Jets ended up drafting a safety who could be a day one starter, in my opinion. I like AZ more than Taylor, just from a value standpoint. I was surprised, though. His game speed is faster. And that's the biggest thing. Everybody's going to look at that combine, that 40-yard dash at the combine, and be like, the guy is too slow. How is he going to keep up with a Tyreek Hill or a Jalen Waddle as some of the fastest receivers in our division? How's he going to keep up with a Khalil Shakir, who's also really quick, or an Elijah Moore now? Well, Luckily, we're not going to have AZ Thomas in the slot where those guys are predominantly going to line up. What he needs to do, if he gets his hands on you, that initial punch he gives basically knocks any receiver off their route, and he can stay with them. And the kid's athletic as heck. If you've seen some of the coverages, he didn't have tons of interceptions in college, but man, the pass deflections and just people didn't throw at him, honestly. Like how Sauce Gardner was year one for the Jets in year two. Year two a little bit for Sauce, but in AZ Thomas, they didn't throw at him, which was a great, great thing. So having him now, honestly, my bold prediction is our starting cornerbacks are him and Sauce. Honestly, Stevens, I know we're paying that big contract, but it's all about competition, and I don't think AG really gives a damn about contracts. He wants the best players on the field, and I can definitely see AZ stealing that job from Stevens. Yeah, he is going to be our other boundary corner by week 8. I think by week 1, I think he dominates. Honestly, Stevens scares me a little bit, especially with how happy Ravens fans were to get rid of him. It's a new system and might be better for his strengths, but I think AZ Thomas just fits this defense so much better. And I think he's going to be a perfect one for him. Now, you said you like him better than Mason Taylor on a value perspective, and I would agree because AZ was supposed to go in like mid-second round. Like he was a top second round, could have been arguably a late first in my opinion because he had a very underrated career last year. Solid player. And Dom C, if you talk to him, loves that guy. Like he loved AZ Thomas, and it was one of his guys that he was talking about a lot. So very good pick for the Jets. And I think they got a steal with AZ Thomas. I thought he was going to go a lot higher. The next one. So like I said, AZ, Armand Membu, A+, Mason Taylor, I think was an A. AZ Thomas, I think was an A+ based on the value where we got him. But that leads us into the Arian Smith pick. And this is the first one that I'm going to give a C to because of the talent that was left on the board. In all honesty, there were so many people left on the board at receiver that you took a risk. You took a risk, and AG said he wanted more speed. You took a risk on a player that has burning speed, but needs to learn how to catch the ball. That's the biggest thing. And if he can, the sky's the limit for the kid. Taylor, I just had some other people I liked better at the time, but there was a run on tight end after, so we made the right choice. I think Muji read the board really, really good in the beginning of the draft, honestly. Early top draft, I think he read the board really, really well. So did AG. Mason Taylor, like I said, I was a big fan of Harold Fainin from Bowling Green, but he meshes too well with Stone Smart, who he also signed as the receiving tight end. Because Stone Smart's not the best blocker, but Mason Taylor can do it all. And I think he's a good blocker, better receiver who can get polished and is still young. So yeah, I probably would have preferred Harold Fainin, but I'm really happy with Mason Taylor. And I completely understand where you're coming from, right, as well. We did make the right call at tight end, I think, going because you said it. There was a big run on tight end after. So I think we made the right move on it. Arian Smith, I gave a C. I think there was just too much talent left on the board, especially at the receiver market. Defensive tackle was such a big freaking need too. And that's the thing I will argue. And I might go on a little rant right here. Defensive tackle was one of our biggest needs. It ranked, to me, tackle, tight end, and then defensive tackle. And in the deepest defensive tackle draft, you couldn't get one. I understand we signed 2 in undrafted free agency, and I'll talk about them too. But, man, you couldn't have got a Deion Walker. You couldn't have got a Farmer. Tyleik Williams went higher than I thought. He went in the first round, and Kenneth Grant went way higher than I thought he was going to go. But you couldn't have got the Ole Miss defensive tackle, not Walter Nolan, but the other one, Pegues, JJ. There were so many opportunities for you to go defensive tackle, and it killed me that we didn't get one, especially in how deep this class was. Or you didn't get a defensive end big enough that can move in like a John Franklin Myers type, like a Jared Ivey, and I'll keep bringing that up. I can't believe he went undrafted, who was 6'6", 257 pounds. I digress on that, but defensive tackle should have been the biggest get, especially when it went down. I think Jamari Caldwell went higher as well, than I thought he was going to go. I think he went in this 3rd round, which I was shocked about, but you could have gotten him there because I believe we had some capital to trade up for him. But anyway, I digress on that. That was my rant on defensive tackle. I still don't understand it. But Arian Smith, not the biggest fan of him because of the talent that was left on the board. If he learns how to catch, he could be a very useful weapon, but it's a big, big if. Another one where I think we made up for it, though, was Malachi Moore. I have no idea how Malachi Moore fell that far. Honestly, Malachi Moore is the perfect safety for this defense because he can be a box safety who can come up and tackle. He's a great tackler, very athletic, quick, can cover tight ends, can cover slot receivers if you need to, which we won't need to because we have Michael Carter, can cover really well as well, and just a leader on that defense. I believe he was captain on that Alabama defense. Guy is so good. And I'm going to make another bold prediction. I think our defensive back core, starting defensive backs this year, are going to be Sauce Gardner, definitely, A.Z. Thomas, Malachi Moore, and Andre Cisco. We're going to have such a young core for defensive backs, and I think it's going to be a really good one. And I like to hear from you guys if you agree with that or disagree. Honestly, I honestly think that could be our core. And with this too, I honestly think that would be a solid one. I think they're going to cover. I think they're going to make offenses go crazy. I just think this defense is going to be better than a lot of people think. Yes, we still are struggling at defensive tackle, but passing on all these defensive tackles, and I feel your pain, Jake, with that comment so deep, and we got none. I feel your pain, dude. But with it as well, with how deep it is, or how deep it was, and we didn't take any, honestly, that just shows how much faith they probably have in Taylor the third. He could have a really good season right next to Q. We also have Noddy, who's not to be underestimated. A lot of Chiefs fans were upset when they lost him. So Noddy could be a really good run stuffer right next to Q as well. We have Wharton, who we signed, who's a solid defensive tackle, a run stuffer as well. We have more depth, which is really, really good. But again, we don't have that like really good connection next to Q that we used to with John Franklin Myers. But there's ways to fix that. And there are 2 players in free agency that can definitely fix that. And I think you guys know who I'm going to talk about. Foley Fatukasi, who I would love to have back right next to Q, great run stuffer, or Raekwon Davis, who's a beast, who's still young as well and is a monster of a man. I think he's like 6'7" or 6'8", honestly, who could come in and be a monster right next to Q. But it doesn't make sense to me with the defensive tackle how we honestly didn't go for one. But Malachi Moore makes up for me. Arian Smith, I gave a C. Malachi Moore, I give an A+. Where he was drafted, where the value for him fell too far for me. And I'm glad we got him in the 4th round. Traded up for him. Now, I'm going to say this right now. The 2 5th-round picks from Miami, Maui Goa and Tyler Barron, I didn't like them. Honestly, I really, really didn't like them. I honestly thought that we could have gotten better value. On the board still for Maui Goa, there was Kobe King from Penn State. So if you wanted a run-stopping linebacker, you could have gone for Kobe King, who was much better. You could have gone for Chris Paul Jr. from Ole Miss, who was solid in pass coverage and a good rusher off the edge. A lot of very similar to Sherwood, but Chris Paul Jr. was so much talent. He was still there, and you go with this guy who's often injured. Like, I understand the pick. Linebacker made sense because it was a need. Because right now it's Quincy Williams, Jamien Sherwood, and Jamin Davis as our starters. You got Maui Goa, it makes sense, but I wasn't a fan of the player. I had no idea. Dano, welcome, dude. Welcome. Thank you so much again for last night. If you have not subscribed to Danger Zone, make sure you guys do. They do great work up there. Dano and Murph do an awesome job. Make sure you subscribe and show them love as well. They do an awesome, awesome job. And I thank you for joining us today. But continuing on with the two Miami players, Francisco Mauigoa is often injured, and I'm not the biggest fan of his. When you had Kobe King on the board, Chris Paul Jr., or you could have gone defensive tackle, which Farmer, I believe, was still on the board at that point too. You missed out on a desperate need for an often injured player. And I understand. Thank you. It was a really good stream. Dano, I really, really appreciated being on it. You guys were so much fun. It was awesome. I loved it. Thank you so much, and would be happy to join again. And but Mauigoa is just too often injured. And I think, yes, in the late round, you want to take a chance on these guys, but you got to make sure these players are going to be able to be on the field for you, because if they're not, there's no use. Like a practice squad guy, maybe, but I want players. The Jets have always had issues drafting players that in the late rounds, they end up not being on the team, or they end up being practice squad guys. In all honesty, I want that to change. I want us to be able to hit on late round offensive linemen. I want us to be able to hit on late round players that could potentially start. Malachi Moore is a great start. Arian Smith might not like the player, but if he hits, he could be a big, big, big player that can take the top off of a defense. Francisco Mauigoa, I don't see that with him. Tyler Barron, I see a little bit more, but is he going to push Michael Clemens off the team? No. He's another one who has good pass rush, and there was a thing that people kept putting on X that he had better pass rush ability than Carter. But in all honesty, I don't think that this guy pushes the needle, and he wasn't my biggest fan, or I'm not his biggest fan, especially when he had Jared Ivey on the board or other needs. Hell, you could have taken Desmond Watson at that point, and I would have been like, defensive tackle done. Desmond Watson ended up going undrafted, but you can make sense of him because defensive tackle was a big need. You could have taken the 464-pound guy and put him next to Quinnen, and hell, you couldn't argue with it. Yeah, the talent might have been too high for him, but at least you would have filled a need. Tyler Barron doesn't push the needle for me. And now I feel like desperately the Jets need to go after an edge on free agency. Zadarius Smith is still there and played in AG's defense last year and had a great, great season with him after coming over from Cleveland, I believe. I think that fits, but it didn't do enough for me in the end of the draft. I didn't like how the end of the draft went. I'm going to leave hope for them. I really hope these players pan out, and I'm really trusting AG and Muji for it. But I did not like how the end of the draft went. I thought they left too much meat on the bone, too much talent on the board for it. And Jake's coming back in. Fucking hate Smith. If you just switched him out with a 5th or a 6th, I'd be cool. Won't matter if he works out. Moore saved day 3. And I agree. Moore did save day 3. I'm a little higher on Smith just because of the speed and athleticism and the blocking that he can do. You never know what he could be, but I do agree. Smith or Malachi Moore did save day 3, honestly. And a lot of Jets fans feel that way too, because Arian Smith was not a favorite one. But I think the day 3 guys killed it. Mauigoa and Barron. I hope they pan out. I really, really do. But I didn't like those picks. And that's my opinion. Everybody else might love them. I know some people were a big fan of Tyler Barron when we got him. And I was watching Jets Talk stream with Ryan Greenbean and Matt O'Leary, who do a great job too. If you want to head over their channels as well and subscribe to them, they do great work as well. And Jets Chaos and Dom C as well with Project Prospect. They do an awesome job. Make sure you show love to them as well. But they were a little higher on Tyler Barron, and they could argue for it. Mauigoa confused me, honestly, and that's how I feel about it. I'm not going to digress on it. I'm not going to go more into it because a lot of people have their opinions, and they're still young. You don't know what these guys are going to do. Hell, they could be the next up-and-coming edge rusher in the league and one of the top linebackers. Look at Quincy Williams. Nobody thought he was going to become anything after going to Jacksonville and basically being on their practice squad. John Franklin Myers, too. We took him from the Rams practice squad and turned him into this awesome edge rusher / DT that's playing for the Broncos right now. And all Jets fans hated when he left and were shocked when he left. So you never know what these guys can come. But I want to get into the undrafted free agents as well, because I think the Jets honestly did really, really well when it came to the undrafted prospects. And I made a video on all of them as well. But I want to talk to you guys about it as well and see what you guys think of these guys. Because honestly, these guys, some of them, I think have a great shot at making the team. And I'm going to pull those up right now. Give me 1 second. And the first one that we signed was this guy right here, Quentin Skinner, wide receiver from Kansas, 6'5", 195. We got drafted a receiver in Arian Smith, but we did not get a bigger receiver. Quentin Skinner is 6'5", 195. Decent speed. He's not gonna burn anybody, but he's a contested catch guy, which could push Allen Lazard and Josh Reynolds. I think that could be a solid thing for them, because this is a young guy who has nothing to lose. Undrafted free agent, chip on his shoulder, was awesome at Kansas. Solid receiver. I think can do so much in this, and I'm really excited to see what he does. Now, he needs to build up a little muscle. He's a decent blocker as well. That's the biggest thing. Decent blocker for these receivers is what we were looking at, and he's got the great size for a receiver as well. Not the fastest guy, though, but could end up being a really big red zone threat, which I love to see, because one of the biggest issues the Jets had last year was red zone issues. Couldn't put the ball in the end zone. Jake with another one. Thank you so much, man, for all of these. I appreciate hearing your opinions. Undrafted free agency, I don't know any of these guys really. Was just upset they didn't sign any of the names I wanted at DT or wide receiver. Looking forward to some real info. Okay, so I got some stuff for you. Quentin Skinner was basically a reliable target for Kansas this year. He was their red zone type of guy. He could get down the field. Like, we know Allen Lazard can beat people down the field. This guy could do the same. He is a contested ball guy. Now, he needs to build up on some of that strength, and he needs to be able to outmuscle people. But when he gets that ball in his hands, he is a tough kid to bring down, especially when he's in open field. It's going to take two guys to actually bring him down, honestly. And I think he has a decent chance of making this team. He was the first guy we signed, and it was a solid one, because right after the draft, it seemed like this guy's name going to the Jets. And continuing on with it as well, the next guy we signed was Donovan Edwards. Now, I know a lot of fans, when we saw Donovan Edwards coming to the Jets, he's a running back from Michigan, 5'11", 205 pounds. A lot of fans were like, heck yeah, love it. He's on the college football video game cover. Great. The issue with him is he basically fell off in college. He had 2 good years at Michigan, and then basically he started to struggle a lot. And the guy's got good speed. He can block. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can do everything you want a running back to do. But for some reason, his numbers started to dip. And I don't know why. It could have been at the coaching change from Harbaugh to the new one they have there. The scheme change, the scheme fit. Was he getting as many carries as he wanted? But I'm interested to see. He's coming into a loaded running back room. And if you had to say anything about the Jets team, what were their strengths? Running back is one. You have Breece, you have Braylon Allen, and you have Isaiah Davis. And now you got Donovan Edwards as well. And I like the signing. I think if any team can turn him around, the Jets are a team. He could be like a Todd Gurley type of player. Got some speed, got some muscle, can block. That could be a good comp for him if everything pans out. So he's one that I'm really interested to see as well. Now, Jake, you bring up good hands unlike Lazard. I'm hoping anyone pushes him off the roster. They sign this guy immediately. He does have solid hands. He does have good hands. Needs to build up on some of the muscle, but he does have good hands. He doesn't drop a lot of passes. And I think he was the cover of the NCAA video game after 2022. He was with oh God, it was with Travis Hunter and Quinn Ewers. Donovan Edwards was the other one on that one. So a lot of people had faith in him. People had a lot of faith in this guy. So honestly, I'm going to leave it up to them. They know what they're doing. People were thinking about the Jets drafting a running back in this draft. Hey, we got one in undrafted free agency, bringing more power to that running back room that was already solid. Does he make the team? I don't know. It's either because he's going to be competing with Isaiah Davis for that running back 3 spot. So, and we know Isaiah Davis has some burst and some solid skills. So it's going to take a lot for Donovan Edwards to make this team. Does he make it? I don't know. I don't think so. Honestly, practice squad player, I don't even think that is that. I think he gets snatched up real quick if the Jets do end up releasing him and trying to put him on practice squad. So there's that, but it's a solid signing for the Jets, I think. And then we get to Dean Clark. And I had to do a little research on Dean Clark. He went to Fresno State. He's a safety. He's 6 foot, 206 pounds. He is a box safety. He's a solid tackler. Coverage he needs to work on a little bit. He's not the fastest guy, but he has a whole lot of power when he comes into tackling. Solid tackler, can be really good at wrapping players up. Solid strength, solid power. Good in zone, not really good when it comes to faster players. But overall, solid signing. He was the third one the Jets went after, and I really like this one. I don't know. He might be competing with Tony Adams on this team, but honestly, as the other safety, it could be a good player for us. I'm not sure, though. I don't think he ends up making the team, but he's a solid signing. Getting into one of my favorites, though, that I definitely think makes this team, Jordan Clark. I loved this signing. When I saw Jordan Clark from Notre Dame coming to the Jets, I loved it because he is a solid safety. At Notre Dame, he was awesome. He was around the ball every time. I really liked him. I was shocked he went undrafted. I thought he was definitely going to be a 7th round pick. But just like his father, Ryan Clark, he went undrafted. Jets took him, and he visited with the Jets. They had a great meeting, and he ends up coming to a team where the head coach was a DB, and your defensive coordinator was a DB in the league as well, and Steve Wilks. Honestly, he could be a great depth piece on special teams as a safety and as a backup slot cornerback if Michael Carter went down. Michael Carter II. I love this signing. I think he makes the team. He has no fear in tackling. He can give a little bit of a pop, and he's quick as well. I honestly love this and think he could be really, really good, and I'm really hoping he makes the team because that Notre Dame defense was really good, and he was the heartbeat of it, in my opinion. Him and Jack Kaiser. And I really like Jordan Clark. I think he's going to do great things, and I'm hoping if he becomes the player like his dad was or better, then he's a steal. Honestly, I really think he's going to be one of the most underrated undrafted free agent signings that ends up making the team. I have so much confidence in this kid. So continuing on, he was our 4th one. Now getting into our 5th one, Fatorma Mulba. I really liked this one. We didn't go defensive tackle, but we finally got one. And Fatorma Mulba was from West Virginia. He's 6'3", 308. He gives you nothing really in the pass rush department. But in run defense, the guy's a stud. He needs to keep his pad level lower. He is a bigger guy. He did tend to stand up and try to play high. He needs to stay lower because he has a lot of power and a lot of drive in his legs. He could hold up 2 guys and let Quinnen Williams get into the backfield. The guy's a good run stuffer and has a great chance of making this team. And you have him as a rotational defensive tackle, especially when you have Nadi in front of him, who he can learn from. Honestly, I think this was a good pick. Really. And West Virginia's defense wasn't the best, but he was a really good bright spot on it. And I honestly think he comes in and makes some noise in the offseason. I think he comes in and can do really good things for the Jets. And I'm really, really excited to see how he does because he got competition. We also signed another defensive tackle And I'm going to get to him last because he was the last undrafted free agent signing that I saw. And continuing on, we had Brady Cook. And I love this one. Honestly, we got a quarterback. Jordan Travis retires, and we still have another young quarterback coming in. And the best thing, too, who was one of his college teammates? The right tackle, Armand Membou. So Armand Membou might have had a say in trying to bring him in. Maybe he put a good word in for him. And honestly, the kid's good. He's got a decent arm, not the strongest arm. He can get out of the pocket really good, and he runs really, really well. So the Jets want more mobile quarterbacks. This is a good guy to go for. Honestly, I think the Jets could have something in this guy. I do think he makes the team. I think he could be really, really solid. I think he ends up outplaying Martinez in the offseason. Martinez ends up getting cut. This kid's going to be good. You see the C on his chest, too. He's a leader. He's a captain. Somebody the players rally towards. And I loved this one for the Jets. So Brady Cook coming in, I thought that was great. Really, really good player. Solid player. Solid pick. Or solid signing. Then we get into this one. And this guy is an interesting one. A lot of fans really, really liked him as coming out. Now, did not play a ton at edge at all. We have him as an edge rusher. He's 6'3", 234 pounds. This is Jamarcus Weston. If you look at his numbers at edge, there were basically 0 snaps. He was a special teams player, predominantly a special teams player, even a gunner at one point. He was a receiver. He was a safety. He was a linebacker. He's played everywhere on the defense. Cornerback at one point. So the thing is, it shows you his athletic capabilities as a special teams player. Man, he is a monster. So I think he ends up making the team as a special teams player and could end up pushing somebody like an Irv Charles maybe off the team. I don't think so anyway, but he's going to bring in a lot of competition to that special teams. And I like that we're just accruing talent, athletes. Because with this guy who can do everything, has played every defensive position basically, I think the Jets got a good one with him. And I'm interested to see what he does, where we end up putting him. Could he be an outside linebacker coming off the edge? Could he be an edge rusher just with his hands down in the dirt? What does he do? What do we have him doing? I'm interested to see what ends up happening. Then we got Jamal Pritchett. He's Greg Dortch. I'm really excited for him. Special teams. He can come in. He's a smaller receiver from South Alabama. He's got great speed. He's 5'8", 166, not the biggest guy, but man, he runs like he's 6'6". People have struggled to bring this kid down. He is powerful when he's running. He lowers that shoulder, and he is a monster. So I really love it. And you put him back there at punt return, kick return, I think he'd be really good as there. And he gives you some rotational depth piece as a slot receiver. He's not going to be on the outside. He's too small for that. But as a slot receiver, he can be good. Decent hands, too. He did tend to drop a little bit of passes, but he's known to be reliable out there. And I think he's your Greg Dortch replacement. Look how Greg Dortch is doing for Arizona, making a killing over there, doing really, really well. I think this guy, Jamal Pritchett, can be our new Greg Dortch. And I really, really am excited about that. So Jamal Pritchett, I think, ends up making the team as well. And I know I'm saying a lot of these guys, but I'm going. This is just my gut. I'm a very optimistic Jets fan if you guys haven't seen that yet or heard from it. But, man, I really like the talent from this kid. Watching film on him, he's a tough runner. He's a tough son of a gun, honestly. Gotta love coffee. Then we get to our linebackers because we go 2 linebackers in a row. And the first one that we got is Aaron Smith, linebacker from South Carolina State. He's 6 foot, 226 pounds. Undersized for a linebacker, in my opinion. He does all right in pass or in run stopping, not great in coverage. So that's something that I'm worried about. You can bounce him outside, you can have him in the middle. I think he's better suited for the middle of the defense. You can blitz him. I don't think he's that good on blitzing. He's mainly just a run stuffer, and it's a good to take a shot on him. I think he can end up being okay. I don't think he makes the team. Probably he's a practice squad player in my opinion, but he's worth a shot, honestly. I think he could do something for us, especially it's something to see in preseason, honestly. But then we go to another linebacker, Jared Bartlett, linebacker from Cincinnati, 6'1", 237, a little bit bigger. More of a more of an interior linebacker. Better at run stuffing, more physical. The problem is he over pursues a ton. You think Michael Clemens was bad at over pursuing. This guy does the same thing, and he plays high too. If the linemen get their hands on him, he doesn't break away really. So honestly, I think he ends up another practice squad guy, honestly. I'm interested to see what he does. If he's really physical and can work on things, he might have a chance. But in all honesty, I don't know. I like the signing. I know we get more linebacker depth, but I'm interested to see how he does. And then we get into one of my favorite ones, Gus Hartwig, interior offensive line from Purdue. He was the center, but he can play guard as well. He's 6'5", 312 pounds. He is one that I'm really excited about because he had some of the best PFF grades as any lineman in college football. He played at Purdue, was the center, did not give up a lot of sacks, was a solid pass blocker, good run blocker as well. And I think he's great as the O-line depth. A lot of Jets fans, a lot of Jets YouTube content creators say this all the time. You need pipeline offensive linemen. Gus Hartwig can be that guy. Yes, he is. He's able to play guard. He's better as a center, but he can give you guard capabilities, Jake. Thank you very much for your comment again. He can play guard. But he's better as a center, but if you needed him to play guard in a pinch, he can. So, and his strength is his pass blocking. He is a solid pass blocker and does have some power. His technique, he needs to work on his technique because I think he relies too much on his power. His upper body strength was not the greatest, but he needs to work on that technique. He can get frazzled, especially against quicker pass rushers, and could tend to get spun around. But he didn't give up. I don't think he gave up that many sacks. I think he gave up like 1 or 2, maybe 3. But overall, he was one of the top centers in college football overall. If you're looking at PFF grades, he was really, really good. So I'm really happy about Gus Hartwig. And yes, he can play guard, but better as a center. Then we get into this nice next guy, Leander Weigand, interior offensive lineman, could play tackle. He's 6'5", 295 pounds or 290 pounds. Played in Germany, the German league. I forget where he went to college, but in all honesty, this guy was one of the strongest, if not the strongest players in the NFL draft, and can play guard and can play tackle. So more lineman flexibility. With that size, he could play tackle definitely, maybe be a pipeline right tackle prospect. But guy I'm curious on, I saw the bench reps. He was at UFC for a year. UCF, thank you so much. He's strong as heck. He's strong like a bull. The guy is powerful, but needs to work on technique. I think he ends up playing better as a guard. Tackle, I think he struggles, especially with speed rushers. He's a better run defender or run blocker than pass blocker. I think there's a lot of things he needs to work on, but that power was way too much to pass up on. I honestly think he could be a solid pipeline player down the road. But if I was going to choose which lineman I would prefer, I'd prefer Hartwig over him. But he's a great prospect to look at. And I'm really excited about him being on the Jets. And I'm excited to see how he utilizes that power that he has on that offensive line. Then we get into another receiver, Dymir Miller, wide receiver from Rutgers. He's 5'11", 181, a local product, which I love bringing in the local guys. Guy struggled with drops again. He's a solid receiver, has great speed, but he did struggle with drops. And he's a smaller guy. He did struggle with injuries as well. So another guy the Jets are taking a flyer on. He's a local product, which is really, really good. It's a great story. In all honesty, I think he could be honestly really good, but he needs to work on the drops. Another punt return prospect, special teamer. Then we get into one of my favorite guys, Caden Davis, kicker Ole Miss. He's going to be our starting kicker. I'm calling it right now. Jake, I just saw your comment. He's interesting, and I don't think he counts for a roster spot since he's part of the European program. You get one of those. You get one of the, you're right. He does count as the European program, so he doesn't count towards a roster spot, which is really, really good. Thank you so much for bringing that up. That's awesome. I forgot about that. He does not count for a spot, so which is another great thing. So it adds more prop to another spot. And I think Caden Davis is a great pickup as well. Jets have a need a kicker. This guy has a cannon of a leg. His longest he made in college was 57 yards, 57, 58. Ken is great on extra points. He was solid on extra points. Cannon of a leg. Tends to yank it a little bit every now and again, especially on further kicks. But I really love this guy and think that if you can get him as your starting kicker and he's solid for you, you have a kicker for the next 4 years, maybe 5. Maybe you can extend it longer. But this guy can be really, really good. And I'm excited that we got a kicker, finally, who can push Greg Zuerlein maybe off the team or the other guy that we got as well. But this kid, I'm really confident in, and I think he can be our starting kicker of the future. I'm really excited for this one. And then we get to our last guy, Peyton Page, defensive tackle from Clemson, 6'3", 290. A lot of fans are excited about this guy. He is another run stuffer. Not great in pass rush, but he's a solid run stuffer. And if you watch Clemson games, this guy was a stalwart on that defensive line. He didn't tend to get pushed out of the way. He did good against double teams. But, again, injuries. He had some injuries that he had to deal with. And, honestly, I think he could be a solid rotational defensive tackle as well. And I'm excited to see what this guy does because he's a ferocious, ferocious player. He's physical as heck, and I love that. So bringing him in, I'm really a fan of that pick. Just wanted to draft a kicker, which Dom C and other draft experts like you want to punch me for. Hope we got – I don't want to punch you for that one because I wanted to draft Borregales, honestly. Borregales I was a fan of, especially – if we drafted him in the 6th round, because we did have a 6th round pick at one point. I would have drafted Borregales as our final pick. I liked him a lot. Ben Souls from Pittsburgh was another one that I really liked, a lefty kicker who has a good leg as well. Out of all 3 of these guys, I thought Borregales was the best. I thought Soul was number 2. And then the guy we got, Caden Davis, I think is solid as well. If you wanted a big leg kicker, Davis was your guy. And I think we got a good one out of him. But Jake, I was with you. I would have drafted a kicker. I was not. I know Dom C's not a fan of it, but that's where I'll disagree with him on that one. Kicker's a need. You want to win on all 3 aspects of the game. Special teams is one of those big aspects, and one of the reasons why we lost a good amount of games last year was because of our special teams, especially our kicker. So drafting one, I thought would have been really, really good. And the Patriots, look at them. They drafted Borregales. And I think he could be really, really good for them. And like you, Jake, again, I really liked Borg too. He was the one I wanted. But I'm happy with Davis. I'm happy we got him in undrafted free agency. And I think he ends up being our starting kicker this year. But those are all of the undrafted free agents that we got. There's a lot of them that we did really, really well with. And on honesty, I'm really happy with how undrafted free agency. I think I'm more happy with how undrafted free agency turned out as a whole than I was with the NFL draft as a whole. Loved the beginning of the NFL draft with our first couple picks, but not happy with the end of them. Happy throughout with the undrafted free agents because I think all of them can do something for our team, whether it's on special teams or if they make rotational pieces on the defensive line or offensive line. Receiving core, because one of the biggest weaknesses still is the receiving core. And there's players out there still on free agency. A player that not a lot of people are talking about, DJ Chark, is still out there. He's a big receiver too, deals with injuries a lot of the time, but he could be a solid option for free agency too. I know the Jets seem like they like Allen Lazard a lot. If he stops the drops and the penalties, maybe we can work on something because at the beginning of the year last year, he was a solid receiver, especially with touchdowns. He was our touchdown receiver. He was getting a lot of them, and he was a solid option. Then he started getting injured. Then he started doing the drops and the penalties when everything started to spiral. And that's where the issues came. But if he can work things out and Justin Fields likes him and the coaching staff likes him, maybe Lazard can do something. But DJ Chark is still out there. Do you make a trade for a receiver? In all honesty, I don't think the trades are off the table still. You still got I keep mentioning Jordan Addison, and I got a Vikings fan on X annoyed at me the other day because I mentioned Jordan Addison in a possible trade, and he brought up a good point. Good teams don't trade solid players, especially with a young quarterback. My argument was A.J. Brown was traded, and they had a younger quarterback as well. I know they had Tannehill, but they also had a couple other quarterbacks. They had Levis, who's a young quarterback who showed something in his rookie career or rookie year. But A.J. Brown was traded from a good team. Titans were making playoffs for a while. Teams do trade good players, even with young quarterbacks, especially if the value's right. If they can get something out of it, and the Vikings do have a loaded receiving core, especially bringing in Rondale Moore as well. He's going to make the team. He will, especially if he stays healthy. He can do a lot. But Jordan Addison was somebody I brought up as a possible trade. Jameson Williams, maybe. I know there were rumors about that. There are so many other players you could talk about that could be traded. I think the Jets are still in on some trades that could happen, honestly. Or we're still early in this offseason, too. Later down the road, there are going to be players that get cut during off-season summer workouts and training. There are going to be players that get cut, and they're going to be good ones. So the Jets could definitely sign some people later in August or late July. So watch around the corner, some players. And there are some players still on free agency. I know I mentioned this. I made a video about the free agent targets as well. Honestly, there are some really good ones. And before I go, I'll just talk to you guys about some of them. And I'll bring them up here. Going through all my slides that I made for you guys when I did these videos. But Za'Darius Smith is somebody who I can definitely see the Jets taking a chance on. He is a great, great player who still has a lot left in the tank. And if you're nervous about JJ, bring this guy in. Have JJ ease himself back in until he's fully ready, and he's still got coverage for him with Za'Darius Smith, who can give you a ton of stuff. You brought up mini draft, as Mike Tannenbaum called it. Yeah, honestly, it was. And those roster cuts, I'm excited for the roster cuts, honestly, because you never know what could happen, what players are on the chopping block, because there are going to be some that shock you, and there's a lot of cap casualties. So be ready for a lot of those cap casualties. There may even be players that the Jets cut that Jets fans are going to be like, oh my God, why are you doing that? And AG already said he's going to make decisions that a lot of us don't like. So be ready for it. I'm calling it now. There are going to be some players that you like that are not going to be here. All right? And it's okay. It's what happens. It's a business in the NFL. But there's going to be a lot of things that they do that I think are going to excite people a lot more. This might be one of them. Za'Darius Smith is still out there on free agency, and the Jets could use him. Honestly, he knows our system. He played in an AG system last year. This guy could be somebody who comes in and is really good. Another one, too, Raekwon Davis is still out there. He's only 26. He fits the young mold that is what we want. And, Jake, you asked a great question. Is Smith good against the run? Yes, he is. He is a solid run stuffer. Better known for his pass rush, but he is a good run defender as well, and he's great at setting the edge. So Raekwon Smith is another one. He's 26. Look at the size, 6'7", 325. He had a down year last year, but put him in a system like the one we have. I don't think the Indianapolis system was right for him. It might not have been a good fit. Put him in the Jets system. It could be a good fit, and we'll put him in a spot that could do well. And I know, and like this, defensive linemen always start to come out of their shell later in their careers. This guy might be a late bloomer and could do something for us. I think that this could be a good system for him, but he's not even the one that I'm really most excited about. I want to bring back Foley Fatukasi. He's defensive end, defensive tackle, 6'4", 318 pounds. You can put him right at defensive tackle next to Q, and he's a great run stuffer. We need one who can do both to cover for JJ. Za'Darius Smith can. Za'Darius Smith can cover both for the run game and the pass rush. And you can have Foley Fatukasi come in too. He is a could play defensive end. He has done it before. I know his size, but looks more like a defensive tackle, but he can come in and be that run stuffer as well to try to set the edge. He's quicker for his size. I know he's 30 and on the downside of his career, but in all honesty, could be really, really good. Oops, sorry. Continuing on. Jamal Adams, I bring this one up because I know he's older. He could be a linebacker for us. I know a lot of fans, and I don't think this one's going to happen either, but he's still out there and still has some talent. If you would just have him screaming off the edge as a weak side linebacker, edge rusher, maybe he could do something. Box safety, I don't think he could do anymore. But in all honesty, he's only 29. Injuries have dealt with him. I know, Jake, I know completely. I know. And I know you're going to disagree with me. I don't think it happens. I'm just saying what ifs because there are still a lot of fits that we have. No, F no. I get it. Jamal Adams, no, stay away. It was the same thing with Elijah Moore when he ended up going to the Bills. He's one that coaches are going to make decisions that a lot of players might not like. Could this happen? I don't think so. He didn't do well in Detroit's defense last year, so I don't think he comes over here. But he's been floating around on X saying that he would like to come back to the Jets. Could it happen? Doubt it. But you never know what could happen. The NFL is a weird place, man. Anything could happen. And continuing on, too, Juwan Bentley's still out there. He's a young linebacker. You can bring him in to give some more stability to this linebacking core. He's one that you could have. 6'2", 250, had a solid year last year. Solid. He's really decent in the run game. Solid in pass game, better in the run game. Even if he was good, I'd rather lose. I get you. I understand completely. It was just a what if. Maybe. I don't think it happened, so you don't have to worry about that. But this guy, I would much rather have as a linebacker. Juwan Bentley, I think he could be really good. I'm shocked he hasn't been signed yet. Don't be shocked if you see him getting signed a couple days from now. Another one, too. Amari Cooper is still out there. He could come in as a solid receiver, like that solid number 2. I think he still has a good amount in the tank. The Dallas Cowboys are actually interested in him right now, so could a reunion there happen? But I think Amari Cooper could be a solid option for the Jets. Had a down year in Buffalo. He was hurt last year, got traded from Cleveland. Honestly, I think he could be really good for the Jets. Bring him in. He's 30 years old, so on the downside of his career, but could be a good complement to Garrett Wilson. We need a big linebacker like this. I do like that one. I like it too. Juwan Bentley would make too much sense. It makes too much sense. So I don't understand why he's still out there, but I would love if we got an update that said the Jets signed him. Amari Cooper, I would really like as well. I think he could be solid. Honestly, we need another receiver, in my opinion. We need somebody to take the load off of Garrett Wilson. Could it be Malachi Corley? Jury's still out on him. Could it be Allen Lazard? I don't know, based on what we've seen so far from him. Could it be Arian Smith? Again, you're banking on him learning how to catch a football. So I don't know about that. You need somebody who you can trust. Amari Cooper is that guy, honestly. And bringing this one up, we need a quarterback too. Bring in more competition to that quarterback room. Do you bring Mike White back? He's 30 years old. Solid. The Jets fans loved him. Honestly, Jets fans really, really liked this guy. I was a fan of his too when he was here. Injured often as well, but as a backup, can't do much better than Mike White. He can learn. He's learned under a lot of different styles of offense, so he knows a good amount of playbooks. I think he could definitely fit with the Jets. Does he come back? Doubt it. But it would make sense, honestly. But guys, I think that is all I got tonight. I think we went through a good amount. Jake with another chat. Cooper, I just think, is cooked and retired at this point from watching him last year. He had a down year last year. Honestly, it's either him or Keenan Allen that I would go for. DJ Chark is another one that I could consider. But we need a number 2 receiver. And you can't tell me that Allen Lazard, you're comfortable with Allen Lazard being that number 2. I would at least trust Cooper to give me something. He was a solid blocker. If he stays healthy, I think he can give you a couple 100-yard games or give you 5 receptions for 65 yards or 70 yards. As long as it takes a lot of the brunt work off of Garrett Wilson, because now you're going to have Garrett Wilson, Mason Taylor, who Justin Fields loves throwing the tight ends. You got Breece Hall coming out of the backfield, Braylon Allen as well, and you got Amari Cooper. That's a tough offense to stop, in my opinion. And then Allen Lazard is a bigger slot, maybe, or Arian Smith in the slot, or Malachi Corley. That's a tough offense to stop. And I think Amari Cooper, yeah, he's older. You could go for Keenan Allen, but I think he ends up going back to the Chargers. I think there's that a lot there. Could you make a sneaky trade? Bears receiving room is really loaded. Do they like Roma Dunze in there with the new offensive staff? I don't know. I don't think they would trade him. DJ Moore? No, I think they like him a lot. I think Caleb Williams likes him a lot. So you got to go with these young guys. You got to go with these free agents right now. And Amari Cooper and Keenan Allen, you can't do much better than that. And Amari Cooper, I think he's still got something to prove. Honestly, I think he could do something pretty well. Give him a shot. He can be another solid number 2 receiver. And if anything, he can give you something. Honestly, just the name Amari Cooper, I think could scare a defense. Even at this point in his career. Lazard, I don't even want on the team. I just don't even know if Cooper wants to sign. He actually just didn't look interested last year. Honestly, he didn't look interested. Buffalo might have just not been the right place for him. He might have not wanted to go to Buffalo. I know he was dealing with a lot of injuries as well. Praying Corley can be something with the new staff. I'm really praying too. If he gets the ball in his hands, we saw with the one play that he had last year, even though he dropped the ball before the end zone, the guy's a great runner with the football. Give him the ball in his hands. I think we can do a good amount of stuff with him. But it's, again, you're taking a risk on him because we don't know what we have in him. Does he even fit this offense? I don't know. Cooper, disinterested last year. He might have not liked Buffalo. Maybe they weren't designing plays for him that he was strong with. Maybe he didn't know the playbook. I know he's been in the league for a while, but there are other factors. He was dealing with a lot of injuries last year as well. So it was tough. There could have been a lot of factors that led into it, but I don't want to make excuses for the guy. But again, he's the best option you got out there. Him and Allen. And you got to take something. Are you willing to give up draft picks? We don't have a 2nd-round pick next year. So what are you willing to trade for a solid number 2 receiver? I don't know. But again, guys, I think I'm going to call it here. I really appreciate you guys. I saw a lot of people bumping in and out. I appreciate all the chats as well. You guys always make this so much fun. I always say this. When I started this channel, I was doing something out of my comfort zone, something as a New Year's resolution. But you guys make this so much fun. I got one more chat for you. No excuses. I'm actually curious if he even wants to play at this point. I don't know. It might depend on the team that wants him. That might be his choice. Either that, if he doesn't go to the right team, retire. Same thing we thought with Aaron Rodgers. Apparently, there's a rumor for him to have that he has a handshake agreement with the Steelers already, just dealing with some off the field issues. Don't know. Does he want to play? I don't know. If he does, I think he would be great. He'd be a solid player for us. Thanks for the undrafted free agency breakdown. I didn't know about a lot of those guys. Anytime, dude. I had to do research on these guys as well, and it was tough to find some of them. But I'm really glad I could help out with you guys on any of these players. And I love just talking with you guys. You guys always make this so much fun, like I said. We're so close to 1,000 subscribers. When I jumped on this stream, we were at 953, I believe. So you guys just make this so much fun. Never in my wildest dreams did I think that me starting a YouTube channel, just in general, but me starting a YouTube channel and it doing really well. I was always nervous, shy in front of a camera, but you guys make this so much fun, and I appreciate you guys so much and always love talking with you guys and appreciate everything you guys do for the channel. We are in this together in the Jets Ward community. I love you guys. Thank you guys so much. And again, thank you guys so much for joining me in the Jets Ward. Have a wonderful rest of your night, guys, and thank you.